This is the WWE NXT March 25, 2025 full show results video. The show started with a match between Jada Parker vs Stephanie Vaquer for the NXT Women's Championship. We see Stephanie connects Tiger Feint kick, falling back, figure 4 head scissors smashes Parker's face into the mat over and over and over again. Off the ropes, Parker catches her with a spine buster, throws her into the corner, clobbering her, high-stepping, but here comes Jordynne Grace to talk trash, and then Parker goes to deliver her finisher, but Stephanie countered with the roll-up, and defeated Jada Parker by pinfall to retain the NXT Women's Championship. Post-match, Fatal Influence jumped Stephanie Vaquer and beat her down. Trick Williams is talking with Jordynne Evans backstage, and Evans asks why he hasn't dropped Oba Femi if he's been focusing on him so hard, and if he keeps doubting him he's gonna keep shocking him. Trick says it's one thing to have potential and another to hold the title. Jordynne says the title has changed him, and Williams says it's a championship thing, he wouldn't understand. Then Evans says that after tonight, he will understand. Back from the commercial, Meta Girls and Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley are chatting about who deserves a tag title shot more, bickering back and forth while Sol Ruca and Zarya chat among themselves in the background, and Ava Raine arrives to presumably talk it out as we cut away. Vic Joseph has a sit-down interview with Ricky Saints, and he says it's funny because there's superstars in that locker room that had a head start on him, and it was only when he showed up that they decided to up their game. He's confident as a performer, and confidence scares people. He talks about living in his car when he broke into wrestling, not having money to eat or buy clothes, and the only thing he had was his self-confidence. And that's why he's sitting here right now and why he's here in NXT. He wears his scars and battle wounds with pride. Shawn Spears rolls up and shoos Vic Joseph away, taking a seat. He says they've known each other for a long time and asks why he didn't ask Ricky to be in the culling. Saints says it was because he'd say no, but Shawn disagrees, citing all the times he's talked him off a ledge, and says it's because he hasn't changed. This arrogance creates a long string of enemies wherever he goes. Ricky says you have to make enemies in a place like this, but Spears disagrees, saying he's a champion here with 3 of his best friends beside him. Saints says he's going to take the title from him. Shawn asks if he's sure he wants to do that when they both know what the outcome is going to be, and you know what he's capable of. The rest of the culling arrives, and Spears says if it doesn't work here, maybe he could go back. No, he burnt every bridge, didn't he? Saints says he better win. We see Wesley, Tyree Ekigwe, and Tyson DuPont watching that backstage, and Lee says Saints is gonna learn he's not the guy he thinks he is, and they leave. Cale Dixon says Ricky is pulling an Ethan Page. Ethan Page takes offense. Andre Chase steps up to defend his buddy, and Page mocks Chase. Andre says he'll handle it, and he lets Dixon and Connors tag along. The next match happened between Hank and Tank versus Tyree Ekigwe and Tyson DuPont, and the result of this match was Tyree Ekigwe and Tyson DuPont defeated Hank and Tank by pinfall with a slam on Hank Walker. Backstage, Ava Raine is checking with Stephanie Vaquer to make sure she still wants to defend her NXT Women's North American Championship after the beatdown she ate. She says she is La Primera and Fallon Henley will get her title match. Ava checks with the medic and he gives the nod. Back from commercial, Fraxium are interviewed, and Axiom says pushing the world heavyweight champion to the limit in his own home country is a moment he'll never forget. Nathan Fraser is upset he wasn't told about it in advance. Axiom says he has a big mouth. Fraser says maybe if he was there he would have won, and we see Oba Femi arriving at the arena pissed off on a monitor behind them. The next match happened between Jordynne Evans vs Lexis King for the NXT Heritage Cup, and the result of this match was Lexis King defeated Jordynne Evans when Evans delivered a huge splash to Lexis at outside the ring, then sent Lexis back inside. King distracts the referee. Oba Femi comes to ringside and powerbombs Jordynne into the apron, and Jordynne Evans couldn't come into the ring, and Lexis King won the match by countout. Post-match, the lights go out and they come back up with Femi stalking after Evans in the ring and Dark State in the crowd. Jordynne throws hands, Oba cuts him off, powerbomb, float over, Trick Williams runs in and accidentally nails Evans with trick shot. Referees swarm to separate everybody while the Dark State guys clap. The next match happened between Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley vs Meta Girls, and the result of this match was Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley defeated Meta Girls by pinfall with Cemetery Drive on Jakara Jackson. We get a D'Angelo family vignette, and Tony D'Angelo wants intel on the guys that beat him down, and the family tells him to count on them. Stax says everything's alright besides Dark State, and Tony tells him he's the underboss for a reason and talks about a card game he rigged in high school. Lorenzo says he'll never forget what Tony's done for him, and D'Angelo asks if he can always trust him, and Channing gets up, puts a hand on his shoulder, and tells him he can always trust him, always. Back from the commercial, Motor City Machine Guns give Hank and Tank a pep talk. Chris Sabin reminds them everybody takes a different path, and Alex Shelley offers that there's different levels to these things and you can't compare yourselves to a team that's been teaming for over a decade. Hank and Tank say they're gonna get there and they'll see them down the line. Absolute Ricky Saints cold shoulders his way past Ethan Page during his entrance to join commentary. The next match happened between Andre Chase versus All Ego Ethan Page, and the result of this match was Ethan Page defeated Andre Chase by pinfall with Twisted Grin. Post-match, Shawn Spears arrives and lays Saints out with a belt shot while the rest of the culling stand by. Back from the commercial, Trick Williams is interviewed and he says J-Yvonne Evans was collateral damage, no, a distraction from the fact that he's the man around here and he's supposed to be NXT champion, and Oba Femi can find him right here next week. Further, he says Dark State isn't his business. In the main event of the show, we saw a match between Fallon Henley versus Stephanie Vaquer for the NXT Women's North American Championship. We see Fallon put Stephanie in the turnbuckles for a tiger feint kick of her own. Then Fallon throws her to the floor. JCJ needs a kick, but Jasmine Nix hits a Pele kick with the referee distracted. Blockbuster out of the turnbuckles, but Vaquer kicks out. Super kick, looking for SBB, Nix runs interference, she fights out of the pump handle, rolls back through, underhooks, and Stephanie Vaquer defeated Fallon Henley by pinfall with SBB, retaining the WWE Women's North American Championship. Post-match, Fatal Influence jumped Vaquer and beat her down, but Jordynne Grace makes the save. Firemen's carry on Henley, using her as a weapon, lariats, and backfists aplenty. She picks up Stephanie's titles and gives them back to her, but hangs onto the NXT Women's Championship for a little tug of war. Jada Parker attacks Grace from behind. Jordynne lays her out with an elbow and blasts her to the floor with a hip attack. Stephanie pulls Grace around and they have a stare down. Ava Raine is chatting with the women's division backstage when suddenly everybody starts arguing over who gets the next shot, and Ava pledges that she'll figure it out and the show goes off the air. How much you would rate this week's NXT show? Tell me in the comments, and thanks for watching.